Hello, hello! My name is Kallista, and welcome back to Dragon Age 2. In the last episode, a fair few things happened. We got betrayed by Bertrand, sealed in the Deep Roads. We also fought the Rock Wraith, speaking of which, apparently, it was guarding the treasure hoard of the dwarves that used to live here, and look at it. Isn't it beautiful? So much gold, and it's all ours. 10 sovereigns. Ooh, and the crypt key. Aha. Lots of nice things here.
A key. The kind that opens doors, I hope. Let's collect the best pieces we can carry out of here and then go.
Good idea. I think this entire expedition has rather soured Amelia on the Deep Roads. I wouldn't necessarily... Let's try that sentence again. I wouldn't necessarily say that she's claustrophobic, but I don't think she'll be returning to the Deep Roads anytime soon after this. Now then, I presume that everyone here has, like, shoveled all of the gold coins into their pockets, like, into their shoes, all of that. Now then, let's get out of here. Return to the surface. Oh, a happier phrase I have never seen.
I'd say this is our way back.
How long to get back?
If we're unlucky, maybe a week.
And if we're lucky?
We stumble over Bartrand's corpse on the way.
Just how lucky will we be, Varric? Just how lucky?
This part of the Deep Roads looks familiar.
We're back where we started. And in only 5 days. Not bad, eh?
Think we could take a break? I feel wrong.
Yeah, this has been a traumatic experience for everyone. This is her little brother. We can stop for a bit.
Let's make camp if you're sick.
I'll wager it was those deep mushrooms we found.
No. It's...
Carver! Oh, Maker, no.
It's the Blight, isn't it? Just like that Templar, Wesley. I'll be just as dead. Just as gone.
I will say, this scene is supposed to be a lot more shocking. I think that Carver's model is glitched out, because I've seen this scene with Bethany, and she has the black veins, and her eyes are slightly milky, and it's a lot more distressing. For some reason, Carver doesn't get those. I think he's meant to. He is supposed to look blighted, but it's a bug, and he just doesn't. Yeah, this is... I think that... Why didn't you say something? Fear, sorrow, everything is just bubbling up in the pit of Amelia's stomach, and she's thinking, why didn't you say something? Why didn't I see this? I'm the healer. I'm supposed to see this. Oh, God.
That's just like you. Keeping this to yourself.
I thought it was nothing. Hoped, anyway. Idiot. I'm not going to make it. Not to the surface. Not anywhere. It's getting worse.
There isn't anything we can do. Not down here.
You'll do it. Won't you, sis?
You always did ask for the world, Carver.
And you always gave it. It's just you now. Take care of Mother.
Home sweet home. Finally. Oh, I wonder if Bartrand came back to the city. You think I'd be that lucky?
I don't care about Bartrand. Probably not. Bartrand needs to die. Now, you might think, after everything I've said about Amelia, you might think I'd either go for probably not or Bartrand needs to die. But in this case, I'm not. I'm not going to go for either of them. Because Amelia isn't scared. Amelia isn't angry. Amelia feels nothing right now. She feels hollow and empty and like she is the worst big sister on the planet. Thinking back, I don't think Amelia places any of the blame at Bartrand's feet. Because she's thinking back. She's thinking, okay, well, did I notice Carver getting sick? I mean, I am the healer. I'm supposed to be on the lookout for these types of things. And yeah, now that I think about it, quite early on in the expedition, Carver started slowing down. He started needing to take gasps of air between sentences. And if you remember, during the cutscene with Sandal, way before Bartrand's betrayal, when everyone went up to him and was like, Sandal, we found you, da-da-da-da-da, Carver hung back and was squeezing his temple. He was squeezing the bridge of his nose, rather. And then when he got to the group, he was like, yeah, the conquering warrior, whatever he said. Like, he sounded rather gaspy to me. So Carver picked up blight sickness way before Bartrand's betrayal. That's not on Bartrand. That's on Amelia. That's what she's thinking. So she has no death wish for Bartrand. Her entire thing is that I brought my brother down into the deep roads. I am the one who took him down there. He caught the blight really early in the journey, and I didn't see it. What the fuck kind of healer am I? This is... Yeah, she doesn't care about Bartrand. She doesn't care about anything right now.
Revenge isn't exactly the most pressing thing on my mind right now.
I know. I'm sorry about what happened to your brother. I should have seen Bartrand's betrayal coming. I'll find that maggot if it's the last thing I do. I imagine you'll be heading home to, tell the family.
I don't have much choice.
You'll be a wealthy woman, Hawk. It wasn't all for nothing.
She never wanted to be a wealthy woman. She just wanted her mother and brother to be safe.
Oh, my baby. You made it home. Carver isn't with you.
No.
Is he coming back?
I'm sorry, Mother.
So the champion was responsible for her brother's death?
Yes, but that's not the connection you're looking for.
Isn't it? Guilt makes for the perfect motivation. And the champion's companions? Meryl, Aveline, Isabella? That Warden Anders?
Don't remind me. I introduced them.
We thought they all came from Ferelden together, but now it makes sense. Motive and opportunity.
It's still not what you think.
Then I need to hear more.
Unless you've already decided. I can always go if you don't need me anymore.
Tell me what came next.
The treasure we found in the deep roads made us a fortune. The champion moved up in the world. Literally. Bought a mansion in Hightown. Everyone knew who she was now. Even the Viscount was taking notice. I felt responsible for Carver's death. He was a good lad, and met a bad end. 3 years later, the Qunari still hadn't left. The Qunari insisted they were waiting for their ship. But some of us knew better. The compound was not meant to be permanent. There are concerns the Qunari influence is no longer contained.
Was it ever? Kirkwall has tension enough between Templar and Mage. But these Qunari, they sit like gargoyles waiting for Maker knows what, and everyone goes mad around them. Nearly 4 years I've stood between fanatics. And now, this.
Don't keep us in suspense.
Leave us. Meredith at my throat, Orsino at my heels, and a city scared of heretical giants. Balance has held because the Qunari ask for nothing. Even the space in Lowtown was a gift to contain them. But now, the Arishok has requested you. By name. What did you do?
Well, 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 look who had a makeover in those 4 years. And by makeover, I mean I loaded a previous save before I even started the Deep Roads expedition, went to the Black Emporium, gave Amelia some makeup, gave her a different dress, and I've just had to redo the entire Deep Roads expedition. What can I say? I love a good costume change. Small things, brief but honest. I get around. It doesn't matter. You know, I get around. Amelia, even after 4 or 5 years, still petrified.
I can't help it if I make an impression.
Apparently not. I remember how you helped my son. It seems you are meant to have influence above your station. Speak to the Arishok. Give him what he needs to keep the peace. Can you do that for Kirkwall, Sarah Hawk?
Maybe. Who is against the Qunari? Why not expel the Qunari then? Why not just get rid of them? Amelia is like, just kick them out. Just send them on their way. How is your son? Do you fear a war? What does the Arishok want? I think this is what she's thinking first and foremost.
Sounds like you'd be better off without this headache.
They will not leave, and we don't have the resources to force the issue. At least, not in a way that would leave the city intact. If they had come to conquer, I suspect they would have done so.
What does he want, exactly?
Any idea what I can expect?
None. Honestly, I don't think I've heard 2 direct words from the Arishok. Other than his rather deliberate phrasing of begone. If you think his asking me to notify you of this is strange, well, you would be right.
Who exactly is against the Qunari? Amelia can guess the answer to this.
I've seen hate for them, but I haven't heard anything major in years.
Zealots are bravest where their lies can't be argued, behind closed doors. Chantry leaders see Qunari beliefs as a challenge, not an attack. But the message gets muddled among casual adherents. I'm certainly not equipped to argue the fine points of faith.
Let's be brutally honest. Amelia is one of those zealots. Let's not nitpick about that. If the Chantry were like, let's have a war, Amelia would be there like, yes, war, kick them out. But so far, the Chantry's been like, yeah, let's not do that. And so Amelia's like, I'll refrain. Unless the Chantry tells me to kill these people, I'll refrain.
The Qunari usually arrive as conquerors. Odd that this has gone on so long.
Very, and I have no interest in antagonizing them. That is partially why I suffer being a messenger today. A treaty exists, and it has been honored. Although,
You have doubts?
they claim they're waiting for a second ship. But it has been 3 years. They want something else.
It is very suspicious. And last but by no means least, how is your son?
Have the years been kind to Seamus?
He is his own man. But your actions tempered him somewhat. He's not so angry at the world. I thank you for that. I may not agree with him on many things, but I am proud of what he is becoming.
That's good. That's nice. He seemed like a very troubled young man to Amelia. I think she's hoping that, maybe he's found some peace with the Maker and all of that. We have no reason to help for a price. We are well and truly minted. We'll just help.
I'm always willing to assist.
Well, that is an attitude this city has lacked for a long time. Appease the Arishok. Take his demand and let him return to dormancy. As awkward as this has been, it is better than the alternative. It's heading for a fall. I know it is.
I'm inclined to believe you there, sir. Now then, Amelia, hello. Can I just say, I'm so proud of how I did her makeup. Normally, I'm completely awful with the makeup in Dragon Age 2, but I seem to have done a decently good job this time around. I really like the bold colours for her. Artin wore makeup, but she went for a very nude look. She was kind of going for like no makeup because she was a princess. She had standards that she had to maintain, but at the same time she was a warrior. She didn't have the time to be doing like a bright red lip and some really like stunning eyeshadow and like some winged eyeliner. She didn't have time for that shit. Amelia loves makeup. She loves being very feminine, and so she would have taken her time on this. Now then, speaking of Amelia, what has she been doing in the past 3 years? I believe she's 28. You start the game at around 24, and it's been 4 years since then, including the 1 year, like, between the prologue and the beginning of Act 1. So I believe Amelia is around 28 years old. And what has she been doing in the past 3 years? I mentioned that her goal was to join the Circle when she returned from the expedition, and she clearly has not joined the Circle. So why hasn't she? One word. Carver. After Carver's death, she got her mother back into the mansion, into the Amelia estate. They bought that again, and every time she kind of thought, well, maybe I can go join the Circle now. She'd look at her mother when Leandra didn't realise that Amelia was looking at her, and she'd be staring off into the middle of nowhere, so sad at the death of both of her babies. And Amelia would think, I can't. I fucked up this lady's life way too much. Carver's death is my responsibility. I have caused her so much sorrow. I can't leave her behind. Who's gonna look after her? Who's gonna look after her? No one. It's up to me. This is the job that Dad left me, and I'm gonna do it. And as such, she has stayed away from the Circle. She's also, to be very blunt, she hasn't exactly been happy in the past 3 years. As I said, the main reason why she took up the expedition was so that her mother and brother could be safe. And Carver isn't safe. Carver is dead. So, hello? Oh, I thought there was a codex entry up there. I'm seeing things. You know what? I think I'm just gonna stand... Thank you very much. I'm going to assume that's in reference to my makeover. Thank you. It's professionally done. This is one of the finest dressmakers in Kirkwall, surely. What was I saying? Yeah, Carver's death really hit Amelia hard. I think for maybe that first year, as everything was getting sorted and they were moving into Hightown, Amelia really didn't feel much of anything. Madam, thank you, but kindly shut up, please. Maybe if I move over here. Maybe... I wanted Amelia to stand by the fireplace, but clearly that's not going to be possible. She really didn't feel much of anything for that first year. She pretty much was just an empty vessel, madam, going through the motions, just kind of living her life, but not really living. Does that make much sense? She didn't really interact with any of her friends. She kind of isolated herself from them. I think Varric maybe got the gang together to try and lure her out of the estate. You know, they maybe said like, hey, we've got a job and you're the only one who can fulfill it. We really need you. Please come and do this thing. And it was very simple jobs. You know, like, I don't know, get Meryl some fresh milk. You know, it wasn't anything life-threatening or any of that, but I really think that Varric helped Amelia get out of her depression spiral. And she's sort of back to her old self, which is in a state of constant fear, but like at least she's feeling something. Fear is better than feeling nothing at all. Now then, if you want individual, you know, how was she dealing with this companion and how was she dealing with this companion? I'm going to do that when we actually reach them. Now then, let's see. We're not going to do any of that. Aha. Sebastian has something he would like to discuss with you at the Chantry. Isabella's ongoing search. That's speak to Fenris. Oh, wow. Okay. I wasn't expecting to get that so quickly. Speak to Fenris. Catch up with Aveline. We'll probably do that first. Visit Anders and talk to Varric in Lowtown's Hangman Pub. And then we have the main quest, which is all about dealing with the Kunari. Now, before I go any further, we have codex entries. Rockwraith. 20 years in the Legion of the Dead. I've seen spiders larger than a Bronto. Brood mothers lounging in putrescence surrounded by their corrupted children. And unnamed things with flesh turned against itself. But worse, by far, was in an old mineshaft down the Hydron Thaig. We chased an emissary down there to a tunnel dead-ended in rubble. It was a vicious fight. He picked my men off until only 4 of us were left. When it seemed like we'd finally fulfill our oaths, our fight woke something long dormant. What I thought was rubble gathered beneath my feet, taking a terrible form. A beast of stone surrounding the shattered skeleton of a man. A rockwraith. The spirit of a dwarf so foul the stone itself rejected him. One swing of its boulder hand crushed the emissary, and then it turned its eyeless skull towards us. We fled back up the tunnel, its heavy footsteps thundering at our backs. When we reached the Thaig, we finally turned, knowing that out in the open we had no cover and couldn't hope to outrun the wraith. But when it came to the exit, it struck the trusses holding up the ceiling of the shaft, closing itself in forever. Perhaps, in the end, it felt remorse. Perhaps it was one lost soul recognizing another. From the Journals of Amrun, Legion of the Dead. Valdecine. In the ancient days before the Darkspawn, when dwarven cities wound through the roots of all the earth, House Valdecine single-handedly kept the Empire supplied with lyrium. One day, the mining family shut the doors of their Thaig. They spoke not to their noble patrons, nor their king, and not even a visiting paragon. Days passed in silence before the doors to Valdecine Thaig opened. Anxious partners discovered it empty. Not one soul remained. No bodies and no sign of what had happened. House Valdecine only left a staff of strange metal behind. It looked like lyrium and chilled one's heart like a remembered sorrow. The king sealed the staff inside the Thaig, and no dwarf ever ventured there again. As recounted by Shaper Murta, so was the Thaig we were in Thaig Valdecine? Okay, that's interesting. Places. Okay. Now then, I do know there's something here that I tagged but I never read. Demonic possession. There we go. Why do demons seek to possess the living? History claims they are malevolent spirits, the first children of the Maker, angry at their creator for turning from them and jealous of those creations he considered superior. They stare across the veil at the living and do not understand what they see, yet they know they crave it. They desire life. They pull the living across the veil when they sleep and prey on their psyche with nightmares. Whenever they can, they cross the veil into our world to possess it outright. We know that any demon will seek to possess a mage, and upon doing so will create an abomination. Most of the world does not know, however, that the strength of an abomination depends entirely on the power of the demon that possesses the mage. This is true, in fact, of all possessed creatures. One demon is not the same as any other. Demons can, for instance, be classified. Enchanter Brahm's categorization of demons into that portion of the psyche they primarily prey upon has held since the Tower Age. According to Brahm, the weakest and most common of demons are those of rage. They are the least intelligent and most prone to violent outbursts against anything living. They expend their energies quickly, the most powerful of them exhibiting great strength and occasionally the ability to generate fire. Next are the demons of hunger. In a living host, they become cannibals and vampires, and within the dead, they feed upon the living. Theirs are the powers of draining, both of life force and of mana. Next are the demons of sloth, the first on Brahm's scale that are capable of true intelligence. In its true form, this demon is known as a shade, a thing which is nearly indistinct and invisible, for such is sloth's nature. It hides and stalks, unaware, and when confronted, it sows fatigue and apathy. Demons of desire are amongst the most powerful, and are the ones most likely to seek out the living and actively trick them into a deal. These demons will exploit anything that can be coveted: wealth, power, lust, and they will always end up getting far more than they give. A desire demon's province is that of illusion and mind control. Strongest of all demons are those of pride. These are the most feared creatures to loose upon the world, masters of magic and in possession of vast intellect. They are the true schemers. It is they who seek most strongly to possess mages, and will bring other demons across the veil in numbers to achieve their own ends, although what that might be has never been discovered. A greater pride demon brought across the veil would threaten the entire world. From The Maker's First Children by Beda, Senior Enchanter of Ostwick, 812 Blessed. Anything here? No. Oh! Carver never got his codex updated. That's so sad. And that is everything. Okie doke. Alrighty then, in the next episode, as I said, first things first, we're probably going to go have a chat with Aveline. That makes the most sense. I mean, she's just right over there. But until then, please remember to like if you enjoyed, leave a comment below. And if you wanted to subscribe, it would be very much appreciated. I've been Callista. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next episode.